You walked into your boss's office, heart pounding. You made a pretty innocent comment. Boom. HR is summoned. Suddenly you're staring at cold walls, a form on the desk, and people you didn't expect. Then the door opens and in walks the CEO. Silence. Everything changes in a moment. That's what happened to me. I thought I was just speaking offhandedly. I thought no one would care. But one comment pulled me into a meeting I couldn't have prepared for. And the consequences? Bigger than I ever imagined. In this story, you'll learn how a small comment can trigger hidden rules, how power dynamics can shift, and how I turned what seemed like disaster into something that changed my whole career. Stick around, because whether you work in a small company or a big corporation, this lesson could save you from getting blindsided. IT started simple. I made a comment, maybe during a meeting, maybe in casual chat. Something I thought harmless. Maybe I joked about workload, maybe questioned a process, maybe pointed out something others ignored. I didn't expect it to matter. But in workplaces, comments are never just comments. They echo. They're watched. Someone took notice. Someone felt threatened, embarrassed, or offended. The ripple started small. A few looks, a quick email, then the call to HR. That meeting invitation. The pressure starts. Because once someone questions you, or worse, once someone powerful feels criticized, things shift. I realized it wasn't just what I said. It was who heard it, who it threatened, and who had power to decide what happens next. At HR meetings are strange things. There's formality. There's tension. There's the feeling you don't know the rules. When my boss called me into HR, I sat across from a person I barely knew, in a room with a folder. They asked for details. What I meant. Who else was there? Did I intend something? I tried to explain. I didn't mean to offend. I was sharing concern. But sometimes intention doesn't matter. Impact matters. What people felt. What people saw. HR often is the mechanism through which companies protect reputations, managers, and structure. My boss had told me, be careful what you say. But I'd already crossed that invisible line. They asked questions. Do you realize what that implies? Are you aware of company policy on defamation, confidentiality, workplace behavior? All those rules I thought applied to big offenses. But suddenly I was under scrutiny. Because one comment poked something in the system. After they told me I'd be meeting with HR, I was nervous. What if I lose my job? What if reputation is damaged? What if people think badly of me? I replayed the comment in my head 1,000 times. I asked, was I out of line? Did I cross a boundary? Should I have phrased it differently? My thoughts raced. I couldn't sleep. I tried to prepare. I thought, maybe apologize first. Maybe clarify meaning. Maybe find allies. And surprisingly, I realized I wasn't alone. I started talking to a coworker I trusted, and I asked, has this happened before? They nodded. Yes. They said many people don't know the unwritten rules. Many people get caught unawares. Because boundaries in companies are often invisible. What's allowed, what's taboo, often not written, but enforced. And that fear cripples people. But it also gives power to those who know the rules. Or who make them. Then the unexpected twist. Just as HR was finishing their questions, the CEO walked in. Not what I expected. Silence dropped. The stakes doubled. The CEO looked at me, looked at HR, looked at my boss. It felt like the room was holding its breath. Why is the CEO here? What does it mean? Instantly, I sensed something big was happening. Either they saw the comment as more than it seemed, or something about my case had triggered something higher up the chain. The CEO asking questions, watching, listening changed everything. Suddenly, this wasn't just about me. It was about message, about leadership, about who sets culture in this place, who tolerates what, or who doesn't. The CEO's presence made it clear. This comment had rattled more than nerves. It touched something the top cares about deeply. Image, values, maybe fear of public exposure. And I realized if you ever find yourself called into HR and the CEO steps in, you are now in the arena. In that moment, I stopped trying to shrink. I decided to speak clearly. I said what I meant. I acknowledged the mistake. I said, If what I said came out wrong, I'm sorry. But I also stood by the point because there was a valid concern I was raising. I didn't hide. I didn't twist words. I owned my voice. I told the truth. I spoke up because I saw something that could harm the team. Because I believed excellence matters. Because I believe respect matters. I looked at the CEO, and in a neither defensive nor aggressive tone, I said, I hope this opens a conversation, not a reprimand. And I asked what they saw, asked what they expected. I asked, how can I help move forward? That honesty shifted the tone in the room. Because leaders, especially the CEO, often want trust. They want to know someone cares enough to speak up. Not just avoid trouble. What I learned is that every company has formal rules, policies, codes of conduct, HR manuals. But more powerful are the unwritten rules. What people accept without saying. What people think is okay or not okay. What you can say, how you say it, when and to whom. How much pushback is tolerated. What bosses expect. What colleagues expect. What the CEO expects. I realized that my comment crossed one of those invisible lines, not because it was malicious, but because it challenged something people prefer unchallenged. In many workplaces, critique is fine internally, but public challenge or questioning authority can be risky. Speaking truth to power is tricky, and leaders often protect the appearance of harmony. So knowing these unwritten norms helps you navigate without stepping on landmines. And if you do accidentally step on one, having clarity, humility, and courage helps. If you want to speak up, here's how to do it more safely, more effectively. First, pick your moment. Private meeting, one-on-one, not in front of big audience. Second, frame feedback as caring. Show you want improvement, not criticism. Use I feel, I noticed, I believe rather than you always, you never. Third, ask questions, don't accuse. Can we talk about how this works? I want to understand why this is done this way. Fourth, prepare backup, emails, examples, data. Show that what you say comes from observation, not just opinion. Fifth, have solutions, not just problems. Suggest improvements. Sixth, anticipate the fallout. Be ready to explain, clarify, apologize if misunderstood. Seventh, build allies. If others feel similarly or know better, talk with them privately first. Lastly, understand power. The higher up someone is, the more sensitive things can be if they think their authority is at stake.